Hi guys, how you going? Campbell here from Autodidactic channel. Hope you're having an amazing day. And this is podcast number 4. And today I want to talk about the control system and what is it, who are they, and what can we do about it. So let's jump into it. Alright guys, so, I don't need to explain to you what's going on. We had a crazy year in 2020. 2021 is not even a month old and it's just insane. So what's happening? I find it very interesting, this whole, and I have to be careful of what I say because I'll try and get this up on YouTube, but might have to be a not for YouTube video. But obviously the elections in the US and everything that happened going up to that, and all the the information that came out, and people were saying all these things and things are going to happen, and now we find ourselves with Mr. Biden as the president of the USA, and on his first day he signed 30 executive orders. And he's upset a lot of people, a lot of his supporters, very quickly. So there is a control system, obviously a control structure, and no one is, we know that Biden wasn't voted in by the people. So this is what's been happening, at least since the 60s, guys. They've just been putting whoever they want in. Votes don't really matter that much because, well, they don't matter when, when these people can use their machines and change the results, basically. So if voting was done properly without these machines, it would be a lot harder for them to do it. But this is the thing. They don't have morals. They don't care. They don't follow their legal system. That's created to keep us from being, our full potential. All this legal stuff, you can't do this, or we'll put you in jail, or we'll fine you, and we'll take away your money. We'll make society look down on you. All for these rules that they break themselves on a daily basis. Because these people, and we all know what they are and who they are, that they're disgraceful people and they're criminals. And they're being exposed. So, who are they? What is this group of people? Because it's a group of people that are not us. They're parasites, and they are not us. It's kind of the best way to explain it. Okay, so I don't have a 100% answer on what's going on, but they are either possessed, as a word, by the demiurge, which is the Archon, which is a parasitic entity, and they're basically being controlled by it, or they may be, physical beings that are controlled, that are made to look like humans. Because we see a lot of weird stuff, guys. If you check it out, there's weird things going on, with a lot of politicians. Their faces are changing, their ears are changing. When Biden was signing all these executive orders, his hands did not look like a 75-year-old's hands. They looked like a 30-year-old's hands. They weren't wrinkled or anything. So there's all this weird stuff going on. And the reason it looks weird to us is because this is the first time that it's really been shown, that it's come out in the open, what these entities are doing and what they're like. We've seen them steal an election and just get away with it and just keep going. Now, there may be other things going on under the scenes. But the thing about that is, we don't know. We can't be sure of this. We can't verify any of this information. So it's something that, if it happens, is good, but we can't put our energy and focus into that. We've got to work out how to get out of this situation and into a much, much better world, because this is a takeover, guys. This is it. This is what we've been talking about for years and years and years. This is the takeover. It's 2021, Agenda 21. This is where we are now. They're going full force to try and implement everything they need to do for Agenda 2030. And so it's going to be a crazy year. This really is a battle of good against evil. I mean, these archons, this archon entity is, that name, archons and demiurge, it comes from the Essenes, and they wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls, and he basically is, like the devil. So they describe the demiurge as the devil, the false god. This is an entity that basically has decided that it is God and it wants to be the creator, and it's very annoyed. And so that's why it comes down and tries to control and kill the creation that the true God made, because it wants to turn that creation into something that it has made. And so then it will be God, but God of what? You see, the thing is that the Archon has no creativity. And this is what we're seeing, this left brain rollout. Obviously all the old buildings get smashed down, the old architecture and, all the art and all this stuff, and they get replaced with square buildings, like the Borg. And this stuff is through all TV shows and movies, guys. It's like, seriously, the Borg, this is what we're fighting. It's a collective consciousness, and it's more insect-like, if that makes sense, because if you think of, insects, hive mind mentality, and where basically there's no individuals that can have individual thought. All thought is created by, the hive, by the whole. So it's a situation of, the Archon wants to create a world where no one has free thought, no one can do anything on their own. They're all part of a system, and they're tied into that system, and without that system, they die, which is basically it. And this is how insects live. And it's also the mindset of, getting a group together and then going in somewhere and attacking it, killing people and taking it over. That's something that mammals don't do. Look around at all the animals on the earth. Mammals do not do that. Only insects do that. So this is what we're dealing with. It's a different, they don't think like us. This is why we can't understand how they work and why they do what they do, because they don't think like us. They don't have ethics. They don't have ethics at all, and they don't have creativity. So, their consciousness comes from a place of just control and domination and rule, and this is what they are about and what they want. To them, it's good to destroy us and the creation, which is everything down here in nature, because to them, they're building, their new world. And we hear this language all the time, constructing the new future and building the new world and all this stuff. But to build something new, as we know, with all the old buildings and architecture, to build something new, you need to destroy what was there. So they're new. This new world they want, is something that they want to build on top of the destroyed world, on the bones of what we have now. Well, because, what we have now is really just the bones of what we should have, and we all know this. We've been, we've had our past taken away from us. It's like Graham Hancock says, we're a species with amnesia, because we don't know where we came from. We don't know why we're here, and we've been programmed our whole lives to look at reality through a certain set of glasses, from their box. And this is how they control us, because, when you look out of the box, and that box is created by, their perspective, then when you're looking out, you're really looking out through that perspective. So to go forward, we can't try and fix this system. That's out of the question now. The system needs to die. And the system I'm talking about is, the banking, the education, the whole trade, the whole way that trade and money is set up. That's the system, the archonic system. That needs to fall. We need to build our own communities and our own systems that work, where we grow our own food, where we, build our own houses and they're free, and there's no mortgage, there's no death pledge attached to it. We need to have trade without interest, without a middleman stealing, the sweat equity, because this is what they do, and this is why everything is so expensive and why it's so hard, is because there's middlemen everywhere just stealing stuff, stealing money for nothing. They don't do anything. They just set up systems so they can siphon money off from us, and this needs to go. No one likes that system. No one wants to sell their lives for 40 years plus to end up broke. At the end of it with nothing and not being able to do anything, and probably sick because you've taken, drugs from Big Pharma. And this is, this whole thing about food, we need to get back in nature and be in touch with our food. Grow it, know where it comes from. There's things, it comes from the Russian book, Anastasia. And they talk about seeds, and putting a seed, like for fruit tree or, lettuce or something. Before you plant it, you put it under your tongue, for a minute or so. And it basically, your saliva interacts with that seed, and there's a DNA exchange. And when that food grows, it's actually better for you. It's like designed for you. So it's much better than something that you'll buy at the supermarket that's been grown God knows where and God knows when, because so much food is stored way past the time that it's actually good for us, because, and just as a side note, everything is energy. So the food we eat is energy. This whole paradigm of, calories and kilojoules and chemical reactions and stuff, and this is, how you eat and be healthy. Oh, that's all crap. It's all crap. It's an energy exchange like anything, and it's an information exchange. Okay, when an orange grows, it is absorbing the sunlight, and sunlight is information. This is why people sun gaze, and why the sun is healing, and why they want to lock us away from the sun. Okay, so when an orange grows, it is taking this information. And then when you eat that orange, you're getting that information. And that information goes into your body. And this is how things work really. Obviously we see and sense everything in physical 5 sense reality. And there is that, chemical reactions obviously do happen in the body physically. But it really is about the energy. It's an energy exchange. It's us taking energy. That's how we get energy in. And so, if we're eating bad food, there's going to be less energy. Now, if you talk about processed foods, there's no energy. They kill it. They destroy the whole food, the whole fruit. That's why we say whole foods. A whole food is an apple. When you buy things that are all these, pre-made, mashed up, processed things, there's no whole food left. They destroy that energy, and so they destroy the information. And look around, guys. Look around at people. Do they look like they're intelligent and strong and getting what they need? They're not. And it's because of the food. And of course, water. Filter your water. So that was a bit of a diversion there. So these people, these parasites, are archons. Now, another way to look at it is, you see, we have the flood, and we have the story of Adam. So before Adam, because then we had Adam and those people, and then they got wiped out by the flood. But before Adam, there was also people, and they're called the PreAdamites, obviously. And as far as we can tell, these were people. They were humanoids, but different to us, and they may be the Coneheads, the Homo capensis. The elongated skulls that are found all over the earth. Brian Foster, he does a lot of work on them. Check him out if you haven't already. And there was a lot of talk about, these beings being in the Vatican and sort of hiding out and having control from there. And, you look at the hats that the Vatican and all these sort of priests wear, right? Really good to hide a conehead. And you never see them without the hats on, pretty much. And of course, this, they're not talking about the Pope. These are people behind the scenes, the bishops and stuff that are controlling from behind the scenes. So may be happening. These PreAdamites, some of them may have got through, you know, the first sort of, because the story is that they were bad and they were doing bad things and they stuffed up, so they were wiped out. And then there was a new human made, a new there were genetic alterations made, and that created us. And we know, we're told, at least, if we believe the science, we have 2 fused chromosomes. We have been genetically altered. As far as we can tell, we're a created species. The question is, who created us? And what for? And what are we doing here? So the creation, as far as prison planets and all this kind of stuff, I don't subscribe to that. Just look around at nature, look around at this, at this earth. It's amazing. It's a jewel. This is the Garden of Eden, but, evil parasites have come in and are trying to destroy it. And so, we are the caretakers, and we need to stand up, for ourselves and for the planet and for everyone, all the animals that can't speak and all this stuff. And we need to stop this parasitic invasion because, like I said, this is a takeover. And you've seen takeovers before. You've heard what happened in Russia, in Germany, in Italy, all these genocides, they happen all the time. These people, I keep calling them people, but they're not. They're parasites. These parasites don't care about humans. In fact, they feed off fear. So when there's wars, they love it because there's lots of fear and they get to feed. And that's what they do. This is how they're using us. They keep our energy down because they feed off low vibrational energy. And this is what last year was about is, we're going into the age of Aquarius. We're still going into it. We're going to be fully in it in March. So if you can imagine, at the very edge of Aquarius, the system came into the ecliptic January 21st. And when that happened, Saturn and Jupiter also came into each other's, systems, and it's called, the conjoining. And all that happened, but now Aquarius is, still moving into the ecliptic, and it's going to be fully in by March. So we're still moving into that time. And 2020 was all about stopping that because Aquarius is an air sign, and it's about freedom, creativity, expression, and like building new things. This is what the Aquarian age is. Now, the Piscean age, which we just came out of, was water, which is obviously maritime law. And that age was, the energies were control and systems and things like this. And so this is how the parasites were able to get in because it was a low, energy cycle. If you think of, the golden age, the silver age, the bronze age, we have these ages. The Egyptians or, Commetans talk about Zep Tepi, the first time, which is the golden age. And then we sort of go down in our consciousness as the ages go. We hit the bottom, then we start going up. And that's where we are now. We're sort of starting to go back up again, out of the really low vibration. And this is what they want to stop. This is why the whole beer virus was introduced, and social distancing, keep each other apart, keep everyone apart from each other. Masks, apart from the oxygen issue, it's a sign, don't speak. And also it's a sign of compliance. So don't wear a mask. It's a sign of compliance. That's what it is. Do not comply. Because the world they want to build, believe me, is not going to be good for any of us. So it needs to be stopped. So you don't comply in any way, shape or form. Don't fill your name out in shops and stuff. If they refuse you entry, go somewhere else. Build your own systems. We need to reject this stuff and build our own systems. And now I've forgotten where I was. So I think I was talking about, like Coneheads, the PreAdamites. So some of them got through. And these are people that are easily possessed by Archon energy as well. And, they could even be part of that Archon energy. That's sort of something, obviously we don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. But this is, the best information that I can, the best perspective that I've got over, many, many years, 25 years plus of researching, what's going on. So we could have, so what it looks like is there's definitely another species down here. We know this. We've got the bones, we've got giants, we've got coneheads, we've got all this stuff. We've got some really strange, skulls as well with horns on them and double rows of teeth. We've got, little people. We've got all their bones. So it really was. It looks like at one point it was like a, Lord of the Rings. All these different, I don't want to say races, but all these different, beings and sets of people around, and something happened, and some of the evil people got through. And they're still here by the looks of it. There's even photos and footage of these coneheads today. People with massive heads. And you just also look at, the Rothschilds and people like this. They all have very, very big, high foreheads, big heads. And obviously, the Egyptian statues, Nefertiti was a conehead. So these people seem to have got into power. And they're, in the past, it looks like they were out in the open because, we've got all the statues and pictures, but now they're behind the scenes hiding because they don't want us to know that they're there, and they're trying to lock us down. That's what I was talking about. Keep us apart from each other and wearing masks and keeping us inside, away from the sun, away from the information. This is what's going on. These parasites are trying to keep us in the Piscean age, basically. They're trying to keep us in a low vibration, and their main weapon is fear. Fear, guys. Don't buy the fear. Understand that this is it's all a game. It's all a movie. If you watch what's going on, it doesn't make sense. Nothing joins up. You can't get any continuity with what's happening, with what's going on. And that's because it's a show. This whole reality that we, a lot of people cling to and that we believe is real, it's not real. It's a layering that's been put over our minds, over our perception. It's the veil. And the veil is being lifted. And that's their only weapon is lies and deceit. That's it. And fear. And, through lying and deceiving, they create fear. And if we just understand that and don't buy into it, they are powerless. They can't touch us. And of course, everyone's going to say, well, what about guns? They're going to come and kill us. How do you know that? That's part of the story. That's what they want you to believe, because that will stop you from doing anything. Seriously. Most of this stuff that we see is in movies and TV. Actual wars and footage like this, we don't get that much. And just look back at the Civil War photos. There's no battles there. It's all set up. So we don't really know. Unless we've been in war zones, we don't know what's going on and how big they are. Don't even know if some of them are real. Seriously, we don't. Because all we know is what's come through the box. Oh, there's a war here. Oh, there's a war there. Look at this. Oh, missiles being fired. What that is, much more likely, is just the parasites going in and destroying the old world and destroying the old information and knowledge. And no doubt people, depopulation, they love their depopulation. Mr. Gates, the Georgia Guidestones, they tell us. It's all written down. Agenda 21, Lockstep, Agenda 30, it's all, and it seems that they have to write it. They have to let us know what they're doing. But they obviously don't show us. They don't put it out there and say, hey, here's what we're doing. They'll release it on some obscure website. And they'll say, well, the information was there. Because to their, lack of morals and ethics, that makes sense, because they are driven by deceit and lies. This is the biggest thing. This is why we can't understand them. Why and most people are like, the government wouldn't do that. Big companies wouldn't do that. Well, of course they would. Of Of course they would. Look at all, if wars are real, look at all the wars, all the bombs, look at what they show us in the movies, all the death and destruction. It's in, pretty sure it's Lockstep. They actually say, they've got this agenda and they type it out and they say that one of the things that they're going to do is they're going to show live executions on TV. And this is all to get people used to it. Oh, people are getting shot on TV. Oh, that's normal. And what did we see last year? Did we see people dying live on TV? We did. Okay, so this is, that they are implementing this, and they are trying to make us believe that we're vicious, angry little beasts who want to go out killing each other and who want war. And this is another one of their paradigms that stops people doing anything, is this whole anarchy thing. If there's no government, we'll have anarchy. If there's no police, we'll have anarchy. And of course they make you believe that anarchy is where everyone just goes crazy and wants to kill each other. That doesn't make sense at all. It's completely baseless. Humans don't do that. You give a human a house and a plot of land and the tools to, grow food, they're not going to run around killing anyone. We're builders and creators. We're here to tend the garden, if you want to put it that way, nature. So anarchy obviously means against the rulers, the archons, and archy is archon, and anti, against. And it's, the actual original translation is without rulers. Anarchy means living without rulers, and that's exactly what we all want, guys. We want anarchy, but they want us to think that that's bad and that, we can't live and we can't build our own systems and communities without them. And people say, what about the police? The police beat people up. They kill people. They run around stealing from people. All these fines, that's just stealing. It's theft, guys. Do not pay fines. It's theft, because unless there's a victim, there's been no crime. So how is there a crime if you're speeding in your car? Who have you hurt? If there's no victim, there's no crime. And this is what they do, and they use, our goodness. We're good and we have ethics and we're community based and we're good spirited, and they use that against us. It's like, oh, well, this person was speeding. So they might have killed someone. They might have caused an accident. They're a bad person. And everyone starts believing, oh yeah, so yeah, they're bad. Fines are good because it stops these bad people speeding and killing people. It doesn't. If people are going to speed, they're going to speed. Alright? Of course we don't want people, going crazy and killing people and drink driving. Accidents happen, and when these things do happen, you can't. They just happen. Death happens, life happens. You can't shut down the world because someone's, I drove a car into a tree. What are we going to do? Ban all cars and trees? It's silly, but this is the rhetoric that they use to implement all these rules and laws, legal, not really laws, but all these statutes and things. They're all introduced to keep us down, to keep us from being free, to keep us tied into jobs where we have to work to survive. So we can't pursue what we want to pursue. We can't, be ourselves. We can't give our gifts to the world, and without that, the world can't go forward. And so I know a lot of people are scared. I know a lot of people, are hurting. This has been a long ride. What are we now? Bloody 10 months into a 2-week lockdown. And a lot of people are having a hard time. I would say at this time, if you're having problems, this is the time to go within and to really look at the world from a different perspective, and to understand that everything we've been taught and told are just lies stacked upon lies stacked upon lies. All it is, it's just building the illusion. And we can't change that. We can't say, well, we're here, can't we just change this to make it better? Can't we just change the banking to make it better? No, we need a new system of trade. That all has to go. And I've had this thought for years. The government, they're so corrupt and they never do anything. And everyone keeps complaining and then they keep voting for them and they say, but we can just change this. Can't we just change that? Not really. You need to sort of smash it down and build something new, something better, because that's their system. And all these systems are so ingrained with their ridiculous, laws and all this kind of stuff that, it's built to be against us. So it needs to all crash and die. We need to focus not on Babylon and the system that's around us. We need to focus on new systems and what we can create and new communities and how we can build them and how we can get them functioning, how we can, connect them up, because all these communities need to be connected, because together, we're strong. We'll be stronger if we try and get shut down. And also, we'll have more information. Community. We're communal creatures, communal beings, and this is why they want to separate us, because they know that together we're strong. We're different. We're not hive mind. Together we're strong. That's them. Together we're strong as individuals, because we can all think individually. We can have original thought, and we're creative, so we can all input into a pot and work out the best ways to go forward. They can't do that. They sort of work the other way, where they have an idea and it's then put out and people have to accept that idea and toe the line and make it come to fruition, where we are much more about everyone inputs, and then together we can decide which is the best way to go forward for all of us to create the world that we all deserve, guys. We deserve it. And we can do it. It's going to take work as well, which is another point, this whole Nasara Jasara thing. And again, I don't know. It may happen, it may not. But, there's a lot of people talk, about Jasara and, when it comes out, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm just going to buy a house and sit on the couch. Well, you're not going to be a millionaire. If everyone in the world gets $10 million, then no one's really a millionaire. No one's richer than anyone else. So it's not like you're going to be rich and you're going to be able to get servants, because everyone's going to get that money. So who's going to work for you as your servant? No one. You're going to have to do that yourself. If this comes through, the money is really just so we can build the new world. That's what it is. It's getting our equity back out of these parasites and putting it into something better. It's not about sitting around and saying, oh my God, it's been so hard, now I'm just going to rest. No, it's about, we've really got to start using our creativity and our power and start building something, something that our grandchildren and our great-great-great-grandchildren will be proud of. Something that, tell stories about. Because this time, they will tell stories about it, guys. And what side do you want to be on? I mean, this time hasn't come around for, 2,160 years, every age, changing of the age. And we still have stories of the last ages. Some of it's got through, with the bull and Moses and things like that. Or the calf, the golden calf. So people are going to talk about this time. There's going to be people emerge that are going to be written about. Where do you want to be? Do you want your grandchildren to say, wow, my grandma or granddad did this? Or, do you want them to be locked in a surveillance city? Like I said, I'm not sure that can even happen, but the thing is, and a lot of people have been discussing this, and I mentioned it months ago. It's just a feeling like there might, because we know that out there's so many people that aren't awake, but aren't even at the point that they're going to notice anything that could possibly start them waking up. They're completely dead. NPCs, completely programmed. And again, I don't know if they're NPCs. Maybe they are. But it looks like there's going to be a split. Because clearly, clearly we can't go in and build this new world and drag all these people on this low vibration in who believe in the system and Babylon. That's not going to work. So it looks like there might be like a literal split as far as, there might be two Earths going forward. There may be, the positive timeline and the negative timeline may both, be realities. And the people who can't change and who want to stay in Babylon and be a drone, they'll create that reality, and that's where they'll be. And I won't be there. Because everyone who's trying to build the new world and who is building the new world, currently, with intention and everything else, they're going to be in that new world. They're going to be given it. We're going to be given it to build. So this is the thing. It's at this point, always drop breadcrumbs for people. You can't tell people that they're wrong. You can't tell people, this is right. But you can drop breadcrumbs, just little things to make people think. But at this point, I wouldn't be spending any time trying to change anyone's mind. Obviously, I'll put out videos, and if people find them, then that's great. If people are looking, awesome. But I'm not going to go out and find people that don't see anything and try and change their mind. Now is the time that we put our energy into the new world, into what we want, into finding solutions, into finding, people, connecting groups, so we can talk. And there's a lot of this stuff going on. I'm going to leave a couple of links below. There's a really good, it's like an online seminar thing that went for a week. I think it's still going. And these are all solutions. It's called the Unreset or something. I can't remember, but I'll leave the link below. Have a look at that. Lots of solutions. They're talking about things like permaculture, growing your own food, creating communities, connecting all those communities together. And and Benjamin's also doing it. He's connecting a lot of communities. And obviously we have Barbaria at Martin Leedke has set up, and we do have bits of land around that's getting in, that are getting people on them and are getting set up. But what we need to do is make sure we're connected, not just through talking and ideas, but also through supply chains. It's no good if we have 10 communities and everyone's growing, tomatoes and strawberries. We need to have different stuff and have trade, but our own, interest-free trade networks. Not this Babylon system where people come in and steal value as we trade. So, so I'm not sure how I went there. I was supposed to be talking about the controllers. But this is where we are, guys. This is where we are. This is the time. If you sit on your bum and wait for something to happen, it may be too late. So this is another thing, is this whole, number 17, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, oh, it didn't, wait, it's going to happen on this date, no, now it's going to happen on this date. Look, that might be true. That might be just military intelligence playing around so they can get stuff done. But like I said before, we don't know and we can't confirm that. So it's not, this whole trust the plan. No, it's time to build our own plans. Okay. Sure, give the plan, hope the plan comes to fruition and works out well, of course, but don't rely on it. There's a saying, believe in everyone, count on no one. And that goes for life as well. Believe in the good things, give them your good energy, but don't count on them if you can't control them. Because what if they don't happen? Then you're stuffed. So it's time to not trust the plan. It's time to build a new plan and start putting our energy into it and our sweat equity, our labor, and start to build things and start to build communities and groups and networks. Jesse Casanova, he's working on an app and it's pretty much finished. He's just doing the final touches, and that is designed so that people can get on and they can find people in their local areas and form groups and start doing things, start building businesses, start getting on land and building, actual communities that are away out of the cities, away from Babylon, where there is no surveillance cameras, guys, and all this stuff. And as well, it's time to start I know I've made lots of videos and things, but as far as social media and sort of sitting around, what's going on and just spending days, watching videos, trying to work out and listening to all these people telling you this is happening, we really need to start to get away from that and start to use our focus and our energy and intention on creating the world we want. Because when we, on social media, that's just all other people's ideas and opinions mainly. Most of it's not factual unless it's fact checked, right? The old fact checkers tell you if it's right or not, but those fact checkers. And this is obviously, another, the censorship, guys. It's going rampant. So this is, again, why we need to start building our own systems. And getting off theirs, with apps like Jesse's, there's other solutions and groups and websites. I'll leave some links below. So it's time to get involved in groups, start building things with intention, and understand that we have the power, guys. It's good to leave Babylon. We need to leave. We need to stop relying on this system. We need to grow up, because that's what they're doing. They're treating us like children, and they're the mummy and daddy. And it's like, oh, can I have this? Oh, no. Oh, yes. Oh, you've been a bad child, so you have to give us money, or you have to go to jail. And this is it. We need to grow up. We don't need that. We don't need rulers. And we definitely don't need people, entities, parasites, like we've got as rulers. Because all they want to do is destroy us. And if you haven't seen it yet, then you may not ever see it. But these people are evil. They're evil. This is good against bad. This is all the stories we've been told in the Bible and other, religious and theosophy books and philosophy books and old writings. It's always a battle, isn't it? The battle of good against evil. That's the narrative of the last cycle, basically. And here we are at the last battle. This is it, guys. This is the last battle. Armageddon. We are here. But this is not going to be a war fought with swords and shields or guns. This is a battle that's going to be fought with our minds and our intention. It's a mental battle. And that's also what 2020 was. It was trying to break people mentally, because one of the tortures they use it everywhere, right? Isolation. You isolate people. It's torture. People don't like to be alone. We need to communicate. We're communal creatures. So, yeah, what I really wanted to say is these people in control are evil. They are parasites who live off us. They live off our fear energy and our low vibration, and that's why they love to create fear and war and destruction and death. And with the party that's just gained control in the USA, that's what they're going to try and bring back. All the wars got stopped in the last 4 years. Okay, so think of that. And now we have people in who want to start them again. Obviously we have, the Chinese, CCP are creeping in and trying to take over every country. It's happening everywhere. It's happening in Australia, in Victoria. It's ridiculous. So this really is it. This really is the end battle, the takeover. This is the time where we get to decide, what are we going to do? Are we going to stand in our power? Are we going to believe that we have the power and the choice to do whatever we want? Or are we going to believe their narrative, their story, that we're just little children and we have to do what we're told or we get punished? This is our earth. It's not theirs. We were given dominion over this earth. Not these parasites who want to lock off all of nature and keep us in little boxes. And if we don't stand up now and fight and build something new and destroy the old system, then we will end up in boxes. Have you ever seen Idiocracy? Check that movie out. Because that's kind of what they want. That's a funny look at it, but that's what they want. They want humans in boxes, short lifespans, sitting in front of, computers, but just getting fed propaganda and doing whatever bit of work they need us to do for the 20 years or so of life that they'll give people. This is what they want. They want us to be robots. So understand, they are not us. They are evil. Humans are good. So, and also this whole thing about you know, I hate people, this whole attitude that so many people say. Oh, I hate people. Oh yeah, all people are crap, all people are foolish. Well, I understand that there's a lot of unawake people out there and a lot of frustrated and angry people because they don't understand what's going on. And I understand that, you know, that must be horrible, you know, trying to work, you know, especially at the moment looking around and not having any information to give you any perspective. You know, imagine if you believed the government were good and looking after you. Where would you be now? And so yeah, of course, there's angry people, there's asleep people, but you don't need to talk to them. I never, ever, ever run into these people, ever. They're not part of my reality. I mean, no doubt I walk past them and stuff if I go shopping, but I don't speak to them. They're not part of my reality at all. I don't draw them into myself. My energy will not draw people like that in. You know, people like that see me and they like, oh, they walk away. You know, it's just a thing. And when you build your energy up and you understand your power and who you are, and also that control people are control people, once you understand that, they understand that too. You know, it's an energy thing. You know, we have auras. They walk past and they're like, oh, I'm not going to talk to that person. You know, all these people who try and sell tickets and stuff to you in shopping centres. You know, I walk past and they're like asking everyone, do you want a ticket? And I walk past and they just sort of look at me like, oh. Because they know I'm not interested. It's so you know, build up your self-image to be what you want it to be who you want to be. You know, we have auras and energy, and we're energy beings, and it's all based on our belief, you know, who we believe we are, you know, who we perceive we are. Don't get into belief too much, because belief holds you from changing. But we should have strong perspectives of who we are. And that perspective is obviously up for change if we learn new things, but we need to build that up and stand in our power. And stand there. I mean, even all these people, you know, policemen, lawyers, judges, you can do it to them too. I do it. Well, I haven't been, well, actually there was a cop when I drove my car into a tree. Well, I haven't had any interactions with policemen for quite a while. I used to get a little bit of road rage and stuff and get annoyed. But, you know, I changed that. I changed my energy, and now it's not part of me. I don't see it anymore at all. Which is probably a good thing, because, you know, I used to yell at the police. I used to tell them to F off. I had no fear. I wasn't standing there, and I wasn't trying to be, you know, tough or anything like that. You know, to me it was more like, how dare you stop me? You do not have the right. Who are you to come here and try and control my life for any amount of time and then try and steal money from me? That's where I stood. So when you stand in your power, guys, this is not scary. You know, it's not like bad things. Sure, you know, you can, you know, get arrested and that, but this is when there's fear involved. This is when you think that that's a result that can happen. You know, and I'm not saying go around and start fights. I'm not saying that at all, but what I'm saying is don't put up at all with people trying to take away your freedom, your choice, or your liberty. You know, this is where we go wrong. As soon as you let them take a little bit, they're going to take more and more and more and more and more and more, and then we end up in a place like this. So we all need to be standing in our power. You know, and we've all seen these old movies and westerns and that where, you know, the bad guy rocks up to the ranch and, you know, the 10 cowboys come out and they just stand there. You're not coming in. This is ours. No further. You know, that's where we need to be. They don't come into our ethics. They don't come into our choice. They don't come into our mindset. You know, because they are the devils and we need to defeat them and their whole crappy cult of right? The culture, cult of Ur was one of the first cities. And this is where we are. They've built it up from there. So there we go. I think I'm going to leave it there. I hope I got my message across, guys. You are the power. We are the power. We need to create the world that is good for all of us, you know, without leaving anyone out. You know, there's a quote from Bruce Springsteen. Nobody wins unless everybody wins. If it's not good for the bee, then it's not good for the hive. Meaning, every individual needs to be included, because this is the thing. That's how our societies are. The archonic parasite society is the complete opposite. No one counts, no personal liberties or choice, just part of the system. And I don't think many of us want that. So time to stand up, time to make choices, time to get out of the system. If you've got a job, look at what you can do. Start creating a business. Start trying to give value in any way you can, and you'll be amazed what happens. These things just come because everything's energy, guys. So yeah, Babylon must fall. Let's get out there and create the world that we all deserve. Alright? We are the power guys. We need to stand there. This is our world. Let's take it back now. And let's get rid of these archonic entities, these parasites, once and for all. Okay, thanks for spending some time with me, guys. Hope you got something from that. Stay awesome, and I will talk to you all on podcast 5. Bye for now.